Should you draft Terry McLaurin in fantasy football this year? Well, let's talk about it. This is the first time I've really looked at a high-definition player profile of Terry McLaurin, and I hope you don't like massage parlors, Terry, because that mustache makes you look like a pedophile. But anyway, Terry finished last year as the wide receiver 7 and is currently ranked as the wide receiver 16 and the 32nd overall player. And you might be like, whoa, that's a pretty big drop-off, which, to be fair, it is. It is the biggest drop-off in rankings from where the player finished last year to where they're ranked now out of anyone I've talked about so far. And to be honest with you, I agree with it. Listen, Terry was great last year, but there's a lot of things that when you start digging into a season, give me a little bit of worry. First of all, Terry was not despite being a wide receiver 1 in his offense, he was not a reception monster. He had, 10 games where he had 5 or less catches. And he had 6 games where he had less than 80% of a snap share. Despite all the how good he was for fantasy last year, he wasn't this premier offensive weapon for Jayden Daniels. And I think this is kind of a testament to how good Jayden Daniels was, where he wasn't Justin Fields, he wasn't Sam Darnold. He could move past his first read in Terry McLaurin and his best player and find Olamide Zaccheaus, Zach Ertz, Austin Eckler to make big plays. And because of that, Terry didn't really volume his way to success. The way he got to being the wide receiver 7 last year is he was second in the league in touchdowns. He had 13 touchdowns. Touchdowns are fluky, man. And also, the addition of Deebo Samuel. Deebo, I think the main benefit he brings to the Commanders' offense is touchdowns, is the ability to run a reverse with Deebo Samuel and, get a touchdown. So if Terry comes down on touchdowns, I don't think we're looking at a wide receiver 7 anymore. I think we're looking at a high-end wide receiver 2, which is why I like that he's wide receiver 16. Because, listen, this is a guy who, if you look past the 13 touchdowns, a 1,000-yard receiver who was 20th in catches. That's not who I want as a wide receiver 1. And, if you go double running back to start the lead, your draft, Terry's going to be a good pick, but I do think we're going to see a little less points from Terry McLaurin. And this isn't really a Jayden Daniels regression prediction. It's just, I think that the addition of Deebo Samuel and, Zach Ertz is still there, and they brought in some new wide receiver competition. I just think that if Terry catches a few less touchdowns, we'll see maybe not the wide receiver 7, but maybe the wide receiver 13. And that's why, I think that at 16, he still has room to beat his ADP, but he's not being overdrafted. And that's what I like about him.